and welcome to another episode of TechHour. I'm your host, Simone Smith Bean, Managing Director of SBC Corporate Services, and today we have an amazing guest. He's a Senior Business Development Coordinator of the Bermuda Development Agency, Korrin Lightbourne. Thank you, Korrin, for being on our show today.
Thank you for having me here today, Simon Smith Bean. I am excited and privileged to be here as a representative of the Business Development Agency. It'll be my 4-year anniversary there on October 31st this year.
Well,
So time has
congratulations.
surely flown.
Time is flying. So tell us more about the Bermuda Development Agency. I interact with you guys so much that I want our listeners and our viewers to know more about the agency, what you do, and how you help persons enter into the market here in Bermuda.
Great question. So the Bermuda Business Development Agency, it is a public-private partnership. So what our main focus is encouraging foreign direct investment into the island. Now, what does that mean? That means that we act as I like to say, the glue between the public and private sectors, as well as the international community. So when you have international companies that are considering scaling or considering, global operations and looking for their next jurisdiction in which to do business, we are pretty much a one-stop shop. So we make sure that they get connected with the appropriate service providers who will help them from getting incorporated to applying for their licenses, to liaising with our regulator, to even recruiting for employees when it comes time to building up that actual brick and mortar office in Bermuda. We also liaise with the local community. So as you did say at the beginning, you liaise with us a lot. You are in frequent contact with us here. We have industry focus groups that look at legislation that governs our focus areas, and I'll get into what those are in a bit. But look at legislation that governs those areas and regulation, policy, and we basically make sure that doing business here is as frictionless as possible for the service providers that are already based here, and that it is as streamlined and easy as possible for international companies that don't already have a presence in Bermuda to come here, set up, and operate efficiently. We have our focus industries, are asset management, high net worth services, technology, which includes digital assets, focuses on fintech, but it looks at digital assets. We're starting to get into blue economy, green economy, and things of that nature. Infrastructure, which consists of subsea cables, space and satellite, tourism and hotel investment, as well as renewable energy. And then you have, I'm sorry, I'm blanking right now. Risk and insurance solutions, sorry. So that is managed by my colleague Helen Souza, who's business development manager here at the BDA. So as you know, we have a lot on our plates, but that is what we aim to do, to diversify Bermuda's economy and to make Bermuda a strong or keep Bermuda as a strong jurisdiction for international business.
I think that the BDA is so key when new companies come into Bermuda, and to have an office that is responsible for you to be able to navigate all of the different departments that you have to interact with when you open a company is so key, and
For sure.
especially in developing new industries. Now, you mentioned that you guys do a lot of focus on financial industry and also technology. And it's been really heavy on the technology side, particularly with DAVA. Tell me how you have seen companies enter into the market, and has it been really a overwhelming experience, or what type of trends are you seeing coming into Bermuda for some of these companies?
So that is a great question. I joined the Bermuda Business Development Agency, I want to say just after the original Digital Asset Business Act was approved and enacted. So we did see an onslaught of companies that, because Bermuda pretty much introduced one of the first pieces of legislation that governed digital assets. You saw an onslaught of companies that were interested in Bermuda and coming and getting incorporated. So there was a lot of interest there. And as it was kind of the initial Digital Asset Business Act, there were some tweaks that were made along the way. And that's one thing that I love about our regulators, how agile they are in terms of, interacting with the local business community, finding out what the pain points or the loopholes are in the legislation and kind of changing it accordingly. So you did see in the beginning an onslaught of companies come through, and then that kind of waned off once they once the industry, I would say, started to mature. Once it was kind of determined, once the companies got a better feel for what they could and couldn't do in Bermuda, under the Digital Asset Business Act, that's when you started to see an increase in the licenses being issued and being granted. So now I think we have about 16 digital asset business licenses that have been granted, which is great. So you're starting to see companies like Circle come here and launch their yield products from Bermuda, which is great because Circle is one of the larger institutions in the digital asset space. You're seeing institutions like Cross Tower come here and uh, Bittrex Global, Staplehouse, pretty much conducting digital asset activities, issuing wallets, launching new coins from Bermuda. It's great because it puts Bermuda on the map in the digital asset space. One of the other areas that we focus on at the BDA is thought leadership. So we have the Bermuda Tech Summit that comes up. So one of the kind of key opportunities or main opportunities for these companies that are coming here and getting licensed under DABA is that they get that opportunity to get up on the stage and demonstrate just how innovative they actually are. So this year, the Tech Summit is going to be taking place from the 26th to the 28th of October. It's the first time that it's going to be in person since its inception in 2019, which is really exciting because we're looking to get people flying in from all over the world, hopefully. And hopefully, definitely. And that'll cover topics just like crypto yields and lending, looking at tokenized digital asset funds getting set up, reinsurance solutions for digital asset businesses. We recently saw a Jewel Bank get issued their banking license, and I'm not even sure, when the last banking license was issued in Bermuda, but that's a digital asset friendly bank. So now you're starting to see from its inception in about 2018, when I remember when I first started at the BDA, they were like, we've had like 60 incorporations in fintech alone, and every other industry's only had like 10. So you saw all of the incorporations come through, but now you're starting to see that ecosystem really develop from its inception back in 2018. So we have a digital asset friendly bank that'll be developing here. What does that mean for fintech companies that come here? It means that we are getting that much closer to being a one-stop shop. How many digital asset friendly banks are there in the world? Very few in comparison to the amount of traditional banking institutions that there are. So, and then we're looking at reinsurance solutions for digital assets. So we have companies like names like Realm that have been recently licensed here in Bermuda that can offer digital asset tailored insurance packages that are tailored for digital assets. So we're looking at venture capital funds, like a lot of topics that focus on digital assets, because what we want to do is we want to bring a more positive light to the underlying conversation of crypto winter. When it comes to the digital asset space, that was one of the key themes that was covered at Consensus. The fact that we're in crypto winter. So with that, there comes a lot of worry, or not prominent worry, but like it raises a bit of questions. What we wanted to do was we wanted to approach that from a positive perspective of life has its ebbs and flows, but we want to highlight the fact that Bermuda is resilient and a place for innovation. So you'll see a lot of that in the Tech Summit that comes up in October, which is in just over a month away.
Yes, it's coming up and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great time to
For
meet
sure.
so many new persons who are looking to come to Bermuda and to do great things. But let's talk about the companies that are in Bermuda, that are Bermudian based. There are a lot of tech companies that are derived from right here in Bermuda, and you mentioned one particular entity. You mentioned one particular like crowdfunding and funding. What is available in Bermuda right now to assist companies with finding funding and getting their start?
So you're starting to see, and I'll approach this from a very high level, because obviously I'm not down in the weeds when it comes to funding. That's not what we do. We pretty much connect people with the opportunities that they can get, or with the people that they need to speak to. So you've seen incubator programs that are specifically tech focused that were recently started. I want to say about 2 years old. That would be InnoFund. That is an incubator and accelerator program that is geared towards fintech and insurtechs. And you have the Ignite Incubator program that has a broader scope than just insurtech and fintech. These companies act as their incubator and accelerator program, so they get you connected with the local network, get you embedded into the local community in Bermuda, and then there is opportunities for investment that are available there. You also have the BEDC, they focus more on, I would say, promoting local business growth, and assisting SMEs with growing their businesses and scaling through form of microloans and their accelerator program. Um, and yeah, we're still in I would say, the growth phase of growing the Bermudian ecosystem. So I believe in the coming months, in the coming years, you will see more kind of incubator accelerator programs pop up, more venture capital funds popping up. Bermuda is actually a choice jurisdiction for funds. We have various structures that are available for companies that are looking to set up investment funds, and the other types of funds that are available in Bermuda. So there is a wide variety of kind of products that are available for companies that are seeking funding here on island, and then we're very well connected. So we're right. I'm not going to say in the middle of the Atlantic, but ideally placed for companies that are going to be needing to contact entities in the U.S. and entities in Europe. So yeah, incubator and accelerator programs in a nutshell
And
are
so,
available.
how are you seeing the local technology market come about? There are some platforms that are local that have been owned and operated by Bermudians. Are you seeing more trends of Bermudians get in the space, innovating and coming up with their own companies and setting up and being very successful?
I am, and I have. COVID really kind of shone a light on the local kind of innovation that's taking place. So when I first started here at the BDA, and one of the most prominent kind of education-based technology-focused programs was Connect Tech. And from there, that was teaching students and adults how to code, how to build a website, or teaching them Python. And then you had blockchain classes and all of that. So there was a large focus on education that was prominent back in 2018. Now you're starting to see exactly that. Like with the pandemic, you saw Sargasso ramping up their app. Obviously, we weren't allowed to leave the house, so they had an increase in traffic. You're starting to see um, a, a, a few more companies that pop up where their focus is on digital marketplaces, kind of in terms of fintech. I, in all honesty, haven't been exposed to a lot of locally, and when I say local, I mean like my age and my age group. I haven't been exposed to a lot of um, kind of locally grassroots programs. One in particular that I am aware of would be Under the Wave, what the NFT. I know they are developing NFTs, Bermudian grassroots, and that's what we love to see. So I think in the coming months, as as the community starts to get more educated in what fintech is, we will see a lot more popping up. Because Bermudians, shameless plug, we are innovative people. We're creative and resourceful. So once we get it, it's there. Like you will start to see an increase in you know local companies, grassroots companies developing that are more tech faced, because fintech it's the way of the future. Like fiat currency, printed money, like I believe that we're going to move away from that, and we're going to move more into contactless payments. And Bermuda's at the forefront of that, like especially being one of the first jurisdictions to come up with that digital asset framework. We set the standard. And I do sound biased, but it that's what it is, right?
I think also I have to give a plug for PYMT LLC, which is another platform that is looking to come out, and it's in the transactional base space. So just like you said, there's so many different new tools that you can use, contactless payment, and that's one wallet service that will be out and operating and owned and operated by Bermudians. So I think Bermuda is a really key jurisdiction when it comes to innovation.
For
And
sure.
one good thing that I think also assists with that is the different licensing structures that are available.
For
with
sure.
the T license and the M license and the F license that's available on the DABA. So how are you seeing people utilize that different tiered approach that the BMA has taken in order to support their company growth and come into the market where they are?
Well, what I love about the kind of tiered licensing scheme is that it is more fit for purpose. I said in the beginning that the BMA, the regulator, the BMA, they are agile and they are accessible with companies. So it's not just a one size fits all approach that they have. For technology based companies that are looking to test a proof of concept or a new technology, there is the Class T license. And what I've seen in my conversations with prospective clients and companies that have even come here and been granted a Class T license was that it allows for you to, it allows for speed to market. So it allows you to set up and operate within, I think it's about a month in comparison to other jurisdictions. So you're getting set up very quickly, right? And then once you're ready to scale up, then it comes time to applying for that upgrade to the Class M, the modified license, and then the Class F license. So for your larger institutions, like the Circles, like the Bitrex Globals, who have the Class F license, that is, it's pretty much like what I say, at a fit for purpose, not a one size fits all solution. So it really just depends on what it is that you're looking to do in the digital asset space in Bermuda that will allow for you to get a license that fits with what your company's operations are.
Absolutely. So, Korrin, what type of trends are you seeing with new companies coming into market? Are you seeing more companies focus in the DeFi space? I know there's an emergence of this need to want to have a DAO organization. And where do you really see the future going for technology and fintech companies in Bermuda?
So we are seeing mainly companies that are looking to come to Bermuda and issue coins or issue new products that are digital asset focused. So I mentioned earlier the Circles Yield platform. We're seeing mainly companies that are coming to Bermuda that have done some research into the Digital Asset Business Act and the activities that are covered under that. As far as DAOs go, and DeFi, I think that that is a new area. There is opportunity there for Bermuda to jump in. I feel that the regulator and the private sector are doing their due diligence now in terms of researching it and getting a great understanding of it. As for the future, I see Bermuda setting the standard in the spaces again, and that's my personal viewpoint, right? I think that we are extremely strong when it comes to setting the standard when it comes to regulation, and being agile and nimble and accessible, and really getting a feel for what the need is in that sector, and kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of tailoring the approach to fit what the need is, right? So even when I first started, you were always hearing, it's quality over quantity. Like, we don't want any and everybody, and I can say that with absolute confidence. We have a reputation to uphold. This is Bermuda, right? So I believe that we will continue to kind of set this standard when it comes to every or how we fit into more every kind of facet of that whole fintech space of the world of tomorrow. Right now, I see us bridging the gap between the world as we know it and the world of tomorrow, where you have all contactless payments, more AI, smart contracts being issued. I mean, just look at our reputation in the reinsurance industry. Like, we are one of the stronger jurisdictions that cover that space. So I definitely see us, I keep saying it, setting the standard.
Yes. So, are you seeing, particularly, are you going to see artificial intelligence replacing a lot of the functions that government and roles that they play within this market and within their entrance to opening up companies and finding KYC and knowing through certain platforms? Because there is a trend now for self autonomized organizations, and to have a self-autonomized organization, that almost spends a position where you be self-regulated. And so technology really allows you to do that if you have certain parameters put in place for the interaction between the user and the actual platform. And so what are your thoughts on artificial intelligence and replacing a lot of the key functions that regulators play?
And when you say the key function that regulators play, I just want to make sure that I'm sure. So, in terms of artificial intelligence, we're saying that what
Like
do I think
oversight,
in terms of oversight and kind of
oversight,
like that human element?
a hundred percent.
I don't think that we'll ever see that human element be eliminated because obviously we have technology, right? But humans built technology, so you're always going to need that human aspect of it because when it comes down to it, artificial intelligence is amazing, right? But nothing can really compare to that human element. So I don't think that will ever be eliminated. I think that as time progresses, we as the human race will learn to or become more upskilled and more adept in our knowledge of artificial intelligence and these new technologies that come about. So it won't be the world as we know it. Time is continuous. Like time, it's always moving. You're never stuck in one place, right? You learn every day. So in terms of the world as we know it now, there will be some changes, but I don't think that that human element will ever be eliminated completely.
So you mentioned that the Bermuda Tech Summit is coming up very soon, October 26th through the 28th. Tell us more about the topics that we're going to be able to experience and different things that will be happening during the conference and what exciting new things are going to be at the forefront of the conversation so that we can get our listeners really baited to want to attend.
For sure. So I mentioned that one of the main topics of conversation at Consensus this year were around crypto winter, and I know we've seen a number of articles come out around it, and there is
That's
a
like the
bit of
hot
an
one. That's the hot
exactly.
topic right now.
It's a hot topic. So as I said earlier, like we wanted to approach it from a different angle. So focus on resiliency and innovation. What do companies need to be thinking about now to come out of crypto winter successfully? So in this Bermuda Tech Summit this year, it's going to be over 3 half days. So the sessions will take place from 9 o'clock to 2:30, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and we've done that so that we can incorporate more than just the Bermuda Tech Summit into Bermuda Tech Week. So there is the opportunity for companies and industry groups to coordinate satellite events. You have on the Thursday, the 27th of October, the Chamber of Commerce will be hosting a webinar that is tech focused. The EDC will also be doing a panel discussion and networking event on the Friday. Um, We've done some work with, I mentioned Under the Wave, what the NFT. They'll be hosting a session as well on the Thursday at City Hall that will be NFT focused, one for students, one for adults. We're working with the Economic Development Department, sorry, who will be hosting a Tech Education Day on Monday the 31st. And then a couple other companies that will be coordinating satellite events and invite only receptions. So from its inception in 2019, we've seen the Tech Summit grow or Tech Week grow considerably. And being the first year that it's in person since 2019 is there's a lot of excitement going around there. Some of the topics that we're covering this year is, looking at the digital asset framework of Bermuda and how regulators promote resilience and innovation. We're tying pretty much all of the panels back to that key theme of resiliency and innovation. So there's that regulation element. Then you have panels looking at crypto lending and yield products. Where do they go from here? We have a few showcasing segments on Next Bermuda members. So Next Bermuda is our digital asset association that was recently formed this year. And it's comprised of, its membership is comprised of digital asset businesses that are licensed on the island. So we want to shine some light on those companies that are here and that are doing big things from Bermuda. We'll also be looking at, as I mentioned earlier, banking solutions for digital assets, digital asset businesses, reinsurance, reimagining reinsurance. So what insurance products are available for digital asset businesses? Looking at digital asset funds and the structures there, what companies are doing from Bermuda in that aspect. So I'm just running down the list of topics right now so that I don't forget one. You have more general topics. Sorry.
Yeah, the last time we had one of these summits, it was a real experience to be in the room with so many people who were really focused on changing the way we
Sure.
do business. I think that was one of the main conversations that we had about who's willing to get in a room, change the way we do business, and
Yes.
really move the industry forward. And you've seen a lot of changes with the development of the new committees that we have, and the
Yes.
development of the new programs that are being established on the island. So you really see the buy-in, and so I'm really looking forward to participate. And also during the that week, I think that it's an amazing event. Anybody
For
who
sure.
wants to know more, please tell us where to visit, which website to go to sign up to register for this conference. Again, it is October 26th through the 28th, and there are
That's
so
it.
many other events that are happening Monday to Friday during that time. But I want you to give the website so people know where to register, and to register soon because it's
That's
coming up
right.
very soon. And yeah, and just a word on the new things that they are going to experience while on island. And Bermuda's so beautiful, such a beautiful place, such a nice environment, such a nice atmosphere. You just want to come down and experience and be in the room
For
and
sure.
be accounted
For
for
sure.
100%.
So they
So
can have more information on the Bermuda Tech Summit and Bermuda Tech Week as a whole. And just to circle back a little bit, I know you're working on an event as well that's going to be a part of Bermuda Tech Week. So I
absolutely,
know you'll be giving more information on that later on. But for
absolutely.
anybody that wants more information on the Bermuda Tech Summit and all of the events that are going to be a part of Tech Week, they can log on to the Bermuda Business Development Agency's website. So that will be www.bda.bm. So BDA for Business Development Agency, www.bda.bm. We have an events page that lists all of the events that we have any involvement in from now until the end of the year. Uh, the Tech Summit, as I said, it's in chronological order. So just scroll down until you see 26th of October, Bermuda Tech Summit, and then you also have a link to the Bermuda Tech Week. I will say, just as you said earlier, Simone, get on there, register as soon as you can, because it is coming up. But not only that, we have a preferred rate at Hamilton Princess, and rooms are being snatched up like hotcakes right now. So definitely get on there, get registered, get your room rate locked in, because we also have the PGA golf tournament that's taking place during that weekend as well. So we will see an influx of people coming to the island. So it's not just going to be a focus on these panels that we have, these wonderful, brilliant, action-packed and thought leadership-driven panels, but it's going to be plenty opportunities to network during these events, during the whole week, right? So definitely make sure you're in Bermuda. Bermuda is not only a great place to work; it's a great place to live, work, and play. And luckily, we're going to be at the Hamilton Princess in the Harborview Ballroom that has a tremendous view of Hamilton Harbor. It's absolutely beautiful. You'll not see any place like it anywhere else. So www.bda.bm.
Well, Corin, I want to thank you so much for being on our show today. This was a very good interview. I have to give you much respect for the work that you guys do at the BDA. It has been a very important, integral part of entering into the market. And any client that I end up talking to through you guys always speaks very highly of the organization. So thank you very much for your time. And I want to just tell our viewers to listen. If you're looking for a jurisdiction and you haven't decided already, check Bermuda out. It's a great jurisdiction to open your company in. And for more information, visit the BDA's website. They're always here to help. Until next time, this is Simone Smith Bean, Tech Hour.